are live with Three Dudes and Wrestling Podcast.
Two dudes. And
Two
dudes. We got a
and
graphic that says 4, a intro that says 3, and now there's 2.
There's 2. Hey, but look, we're keeping it strong. This is episode 17. So, what are you about to say?
The one with good news.
Yes.
Good news, everyone.
Yep. This week, at least for me, had a lot of good moments happen, but we'll save some of that for a little bit later because after AEW, I have a question. Is MJF a babyface? Is that what's going on?
It seems like it. I mean, you basically have, or after what we just saw, I would guess, but at the same time, your only match going into Full Gear, I believe, right, is going to be a title match between two baby faces, one of which it was built with one, and the other one is just because he cut a promo basically saying, Tony, your booking sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, so that
he's a
either way, I like it. Either way, I like what that was. And what was funny is Tony Khan did a interview, you know, as he does on a weekly basis, apparently.
How was he for it?
I just read some of the stuff from it because in it he was talking about how not every match has to have long-term booking or storytelling.
Oh, this was when he was taking pot shots at Bischoff again?
Yeah. And then I think he did bring up WWE, but not in a like I think he just said like how WWE does long story. We don't need to do that or something like that. So it wasn't like a shot at WWE. It was just like a comparison, which those I'm fine with.
We're improving.
Yes,
we're going from taking semi-regular shots at WWE to talking shit about WCW in the golden years.
Yeah, so we're slowly getting there, but
so how long until he starts taking pot shots at Billy Corgan in NWA?
I don't know, but apparently somebody from NWA was on Raw this Monday. He was one of the 4 people that got beat up. But yeah, so like for him to say, you know, no long-term storytelling or whatever, it was just funny that the match was just a precursor to continue the storyline into was it Full Gear, whichever pay-per-view is next.
Correct, I believe so. Yeah.
So it was just like you're saying we don't need to do long storytelling, but this is a rib essentially. Like you're going to get that long storytelling.
You're like, yep, we're still waiting for Cody Rhodes to turn any day now. Same with Jamie Hayter.
So yeah, it's just one of those things. But yeah, I think tonight's AEW was pretty solid. Some good matches. I was kind of in and out because I'm not gonna lie. Gotham Knights came out recently, so I'm trying to platinum that game. So I was kind of doing both at the same time. But
yeah, my coworker got it the other day, and he hasn't shut up about it for the last few days.
So I'm not going because if I start talking about that, that's a whole. Got to have another podcast. 2 dudes in gaming, something. I don't know.
I was gonna say it's like the first time you don't have the WWE game playing in the background, but you do have a full shot of the video game system there, clear as day.
Yeah, because it's.
Oh, there we go.
So yeah,
Gotham Knights now.
Yeah. But yeah, AEW was pretty solid this week on Dynamite and Rampage too. I like the stuff that's going on with Jade Cargill and Nyla Rose right now because Nyla Rose is being that almost like I'm trying to be cool and funny type of heel, where she'll say and do things that are just like very cheesy, but it kind of goes along with what she's doing.
She's always had kind of a bit of a sense of humor. It's just
Yeah,
she was always booked as being a monster, so you can't really
exactly.
have that come across when you're, especially when you got Vicky Guerrero trying to cut promos for
Yeah.
you.
So I like that. I like this version of Nyla Rose because anytime where it feels like just like with Brock Lesnar, where they let their true self kind of shine through and kind of merge characters. Like Brock was still a beast, but we love Cowboy Brock. So it's kind of like that with her too, where it's like, we like Nyla, but when she's Nyla, the beast with Nyla the person, it just makes it better. So I'm definitely enjoying what they're doing
It's
with her and Jade Cargill. Still don't know what they're doing with the baddies though, but
I mean, like I said the other day, as long as Kira Hogan's on my TV every week, I'm happy.
yeah, yeah. It's just they
Same with
aren't needed.
same with Caden Carter on NXT.
hmm Speaking of NXT, nice little segue.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
They had a hell of a
they had
weekend.
Halloween Havoc. Um, so I'm not sure if Shotzi is back down in NXT or if this is one of those, main roster stars go down to NXT just to
They've been having a lot of like pinballing over the last while. I mean, we just had R-Truth
hmm and
on. He
full
was on.
Joker get up. Yep,
Yep,
last
he was
night.
on. Yep, thinking it was Halloween. High Havoc, 3 days removed,
Yep.
2 or 3 days removed. Yep.
That's why I love our truth, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like his goal is just I'm gonna break you. That's his goal. But yeah, Halloween Havoc was actually pretty good.
Hell of a main
Triple
event.
threat. Oh yeah. That was a
Mm-hmm.
dope main event. That was a dope ladder match too. Um, Even though they did a spot exactly the same that they did in the last 5-man ladder match for the North American title, which Carmelo Hayes won that time. Exact
Mm-hmm.
same match, exact same spot, just a different person. Um, I wasn't too mad at it because there's only so much you can do in a ladder match. So one spot here is going to be another spot somewhere else. Like it's only so much you can do. So like I wasn't too mad about it, but I'm just like that was like less than a year ago when he did it. At least give it at least a year. Like space it out so people forget. Um, but I think because I'll probably be doing this kind of throughout because I have multiple moments of the week. so um so this is just the first two moments of the week. Since they're dealing with NXT, but Wesley won the North American Championship. And for Wesley, what really makes this my moment of the week is this is Wesley's first singles championship within professional wrestling. So he's always
Mm-hmm.
usually been like a tag team champion.
I was gonna say we were discussing that in the pre-thing the other day, where
Yeah.
I think he had like one singles title in like some rando indie company, but other than that, it was like 90%
Yeah.
tag titles.
Yeah. And so that was dope for me because this past year, having been separated from his tag team partner who went back with the Rascals down in the Indies, which if you aren't watching all of those guys wrestle, you really need to just the Rascals, Trey Miguel. Um, oh my God, the names are slipping me, but um, at the end of the day, just go check out the Rascals because they are definitely worth it. Check out a lot of these indie guys because they are definitely for sure worth it. But my other moment of the week, so I guess this is the second one, still in NXT. But The Rock's daughter finally made her debut.
And she's a cult member.
Yep, and she is the first fourth generation superstar.
She did it for The Rock.
Yep, she did it for The Rock. Because first it was High Chief Peter Maivia, And then for just for people who don't know the Anuahi family line, High
It's
Chief Peter,
expansive.
yeah, it's expansive, but High Chief Peter Maivia and I forget the patriarch of the Anuahi family. I'm beating myself up. It's like on the tip of my tongue, but they were the Wild Samoans, and so they essentially became blood brothers. So from my understanding, that's kind of like oath brotherhood, where it's not related by blood; it's related by blood oath. Um, so that's how The Rock fits into the Anuahi family. People just online just be like, "Oh yeah, this is The Rock's family." I'm like, no, like he's a blood relative, or blood oath relative.
Yeah, I'm looking at the
But
family tree on Wikipedia right now, and
yeah,
I'm
and
not even
then
gonna try with this one.
yeah, and then Rocky Johnson, The Rock's dad, married High Chief Peter Maivia's mom or daughter.
And he
That'd be
married
weird.
he
That'd
married
be
Danny
weird.
Garcia. He married Danny Garcia, not the one that we're seeing on TV every so often now, but a different one.
Yep. But yeah, so that's who Rocky Maivia, The Rock's dad, married. So he married into that Samoan dynasty. And then The Rock being, I almost said daughter, but the son of Rocky Johnson and the grandson of High Chief Peter Maivia, and then Ava Rain. Um, but I'm really interested to see how this career is going to turn out for her. Um, I'm not going to say I have high expectations, but I do have high hopes for her. Because in that little bit of talking she did, she seems like she's able to carry her own.
I mean,
And
I also like.
also, go ahead.
I was gonna say the leader of that's Joe Gacy, right?
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of his.
Oh yeah.
It's just I don't know. I can't get into his group that he's in right now, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
Ava Rain is the next most interesting person in that group already,
Mm-hmm.
and she's already over. Like, and I think there's going to be a difference between her and Dominic. The only reason I say that is because she took the past 2 years training and down at the performance center, where I'm not 100% sure if Dom had that same amount of, I'm just going to call it like buffer training or whatever,
He just
where
basically learned as he was just learning as he went in the ring.
yeah, a little bit like that.
And when you put him, when your dad is Rey Mysterio, and you're basically taking him with him for the majority of the time, you got nowhere really to go but up.
Yeah, and so again, high hopes for Dominic, but I I honestly believe that Ava Rain is going to be more successful than Dominic. Um,
I hate saying this, but I kind of want to see Dominic leave WWE, and I want to see him in like AAA or somewhere so badly because him down in Mexico would just be like as like a sleazy heel.
yeah,
God, that would just be a thing of beauty.
pair him up with Sam Adonis. Shout out
Especially if
to Sam Adonis.
especially if you play off the fact that he's just play off the fact that he may or may not be estranged from Ray, and he's just like an uber heel down there. Then
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Like there's potential with Dominic. But yeah, that was like I guess my most shocking moment of the week. Just simply because it was so unexpected. Because I was going off of, you know, oh, that's Indy Hartwell, or that's, this person or that person. Never even crossed my mind to think Ava Rain. And I knew that she was, at live shows cutting promos and, doing stuff. And she's, for the past few months been calling herself the final girl. And in a way she was, the final, I guess, if you want to say girl in Schism. So the final person in Schism. Um, but that's interesting how these both of these ooh, both of these groups are, kind of mirrors of each other, Judgment Day and Schism.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's what I would like to see. I need to see like a mixed tag match between Schism and Judgment Day. I feel like Judgment Day may still win, but still.
Oh yeah.
But I do think that Schism and both have that kind of handicap, which is would be Ava or Dominic. Because I mean, let's be real, the Grizzled Young Veterans are like the former Grizzled Young Veterans were a solid tag team over in NXT UK. So like, I'm not taking away from their skill at all. Are they on the same level as Finn Balor? No. On Damian Priest, yes,
maybe.
Only because they both were in NXT roughly the same amount. Well, actually, I think they were down there more, but those were NXT darlings essentially. So I'm going to put them. Go ahead.
And then we get a spot where Rhea Ripley would probably just start lawn darting people left and right, like Gacy and all that. I mean, we saw her body slam what's his face on Monday.
Yeah. So that's where I think that kind of weakness is going to be those two, but at the same time, that don't really mean anything because Dom beat AJ. So, so it's just a matter. Y'all still got sunlight down there? Where you at? I said y'all still got sunlight down there. Where you at? I don't know what this is on the. Is that your window over here? On the other side, I just see sunlight.
I do not. Oh, it's probably no. I have a. It's cold out here, so I got plastic on the window. It's just the
the reflection
is beaming off me right now. No, it's actually, if I were to open my blinds right now, it'd probably be pitch black.
Because I'm like, it's 10 o'clock at night. What is going on?
There.
So you can.
It still doesn't help.
you can blame the ADHD because until my ADHD figured out what that was, it wasn't going to give it up.
I know. I was wondering. I thought you were looking at a different screen. Then I looked in the corner of mine. I'm like, yeah, why does it look shiny outside?
I was like, hold on. Sorry about that for ADHD. Forgive me, but yeah. So I think this is going to be a good chance for both to work with solid talkers and solid workers to become even better wrestlers. I do think they both need to stay in tag teams for a while, just until they get that momentum going, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think it's going to be good. So yeah, both NXT and WWE or AEW. I'm sorry, both of them were good this week. Over on Rampage, though, it finally happened. Willow Nightingale is officially signed to AEW.
She's all
which is good. She is all elite, and I couldn't be happier because ever since I started watching Willow Nightingale, I have been thoroughly impressed. And after also watching her back when she was in Wild Women of Wrestling, when I was watching a lot of that over the summer, and seeing how she was prior to being Willow Nightingale as eye candy, I was honestly just thoroughly impressed with her as a wrestler, her as a worker, and so I'm glad that she does finally have a big time contract. Now, will Tony Khan use her properly? Hopefully. But we know Tony Khan is kind of lacking in the women's division over in AEW because I think they only had one match tonight. And that was the only mention of the women, I think, in all of Dynamite was like a 5 to 7 minute match. So it didn't even last that long. It was
so pretty far in the course, what you're saying.
Yeah, and that's a shame because y'all brought Paige over or Soraya, and y'all not using her. I mean, she was in a backstage promo. That was about it. I mean, y'all might be using her backstage, but behind the scenes. But as far as on camera, um, I feel like not only does she need more time, but the women need more time. And even if like once a month, like I said, Rampage was just all women's matches, just the entire hour. Um, that way you can kind of build feuds to take them out through other shows and just give them more time because I mean if honestly if they're getting what 2 4 6 8 hours a month on Wednesdays and then 3 4 hours a month on Fridays and however many extra days may fall at the beginning or end, y'all can give up 1 hour a month just to start off with. And I think that could be a solid way just to showcase the women in AEW because it's like if it's not Dr. Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, her people, Jade Cargill,
That's
they're all
basically the women's division in a nutshell. Is there at least what you would
Tony
think based on how
Storm
everything's
and
booked?
yeah, and then you would just kind of randomly pluck other people out of the women's division to pair them with those people.
Be like, who's gonna feud with Britt this week? Who's gonna wrestle Tony Storm this week? Yeah, when's Britt gonna do her next interview where she takes pot shots at Thunder Rosa?
Yeah, like, and I think the women's division in AEW, hell, in fact, WWE, both need work. Um,
The difference being WWE's at least have had the main event shows and have had all women pay per view, so they're way ahead of the curve there.
You're right, Serena Deeb.
Like they have
Serena Deeb for sure. Yes.
Well, she's not featured on AEW, so now she's appearing on our show.
Yeah.
I misread it.
She was.
I thought that was the username. My bad. My comment still stands.
Yeah, but she was. She's another one that is kind of just like used a lot, just to have her feud with.
Too.
Yeah. I'm glad like she's being used, but it's still just like it's still these same few. Like Athena came in, and I get they're getting time on Dark, but at the same time, a lot of people don't watch Dark or Dark Elevation.
I'm one of them. Like I'll watch highlights and then Dark. I'll put it on as background noise, and more often than not, I just will listen more to the commentary than I'll watch the actual match because most of it's just jobber matches, like 12 to 15 jobber matches.
So it's just like right now, Tony Khan is putting quantity over quality.
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of say the same for WWE right now, but at least with WWE, things are still a little bit more fleshed out. And even the people that were brought back aren't just being, used to the moon and back. Like there's still times where like either they'll just be in a backstage scene talking or just kind of walking through.
Mm-hmm.
But like Karrion Kross, like, oh yeah, hey, we're gonna leave that there for a little bit.
I thought he died of COVID, but no, here he is in spirit.
Yeah, so yeah, you're right, Abaddon, but she need to be on regular Dynamite and Rampage though. That's what she need to be. You got all this talent, and they going to the wayside. Look, Warner Brothers just gave you a lot of money, dude, or at least I think they are, because they trying to do more with you and all of that. Get a woman show. I'm telling you. That's what the people want. You can call me Dave Bautista right now because you can give me what I want. Okay, Tony Khan? That's what I need from you. Simple as that. What you think, though?
It sounds like something Batista would say to Marlena back in the day.
Let's see, what is that? She should have got the push ahead of Willow. Yeah.
Oh, he's going after your girl now.
No, but no, that's understandable because she should have. And I'm not going to sit here and deny that. I think she earned her spot just as much as Willow did. It's just I think Tony Khan thinks that Abaddon isn't as marketable when it's those unique characters like that that if you have the right booking, they could be, the most over person. So yeah, it's just like they have the options or they have the ability and the resources to do it. But Tony Khan is literally just a guy playing with his action figures. That's literally all he
Mhm.
is. And it's sad because, you know, at least when it comes to WWE and Triple H, they care about what they're putting out to a sense of we have to make sure all of these puzzles or pieces of the puzzle fit in place correctly. We can't just grab a handful out of three different puzzle boxes and try to put it together.
Yeah, I mean, I was booking better shows with my wrestling action figures, including a stormtrooper here and there back in the day, and I didn't have the kind of Adderall or cocaine that Tony has.
Like it's somebody on Twitter, I can't remember who, but somebody on Twitter said I lost it. I'm not even gonna lie. It was there and then it was gone. Oh, it was a good one too. What did they say about Tony? Um
I'm sure there's plenty to be said about him.
there is. I know Lana was she did an interview about
Miro, I saw that
Miro.
one. Yep.
Yep. And she was talking about how AEW
Oh, he
is just
wasn't
like
recording anything,
WWE.
was he?
So it's just like he was damn, I lost that one too. What was I talking about?
Miro.
Oh, right, Miro. That he is doing just like what WWE did. He said Vince and Tony are pretty much the same. They're just going to use their favorites,
Hmm.
and that's true because I mean, look where is Miro? Like from what I saw, Miro was one of your top guys, and you start bringing in all these other people, and now Miro is just kind of there to be used whenever. And now that Malachi Black kind of left, that killed that feud instantly.
Hmm.
I think it should have still went on because they definitely could have had a feud with the dark. What do they call
House
it?
of Black.
Yeah, House of Black. I almost said the Dark Order. House of Black, and you could have put Miro with, which I thought would be interesting with Sting and Darby Allin, and then had them feud like that where Miro could also kind of be, you know, the big guy to uh
Like the
you know,
enforcer.
yeah, Brody King. I was trying not to say Brody Lee. That's why I was like, want to make sure I say the right name.
Hmm.
With
Be like,
Brody
I think
King,
he's gonna win a feud with Brody Lee these days.
yeah. But like that's what could have been done, and it still could have been like a good way to carry the Darby Allin feud and both, where they're kind of just together, and Sting is just kind of like this omnipresent being that's just there but doesn't really attack unless it's needed. Like
Hmm.
that could have been really dope, but Tony Khan was just like, nah.
And now he's gonna
Well,
come back, and it's gonna be one of those things like, oh yeah, he does still work here, doesn't he?
hmm and like I was just sitting here thinking the other day, I'm like, where's Miro at? Because I'm over here watching AEW. I'm like, okay, I want to see what Rusev or Miro's all about. Nah,
He's
he
gonna
ain't even
come.
been here. The whole time I've been watching AEW, I've only seen him wrestle like maybe 3 or 4 times.
He's gonna come back with his gamer gimmick that he first debuted with the company in.
Because it was like when I came back, he was feuding with Sammy Guevara, and then Sammy Guevara beat him, and then he was gone, and then he was gone for a while. Then he came back for like what's that show? Forbidden Door.
Hmm.
Stayed around for a month, gone. Just like I want to see more Miro. Like, come on. Like I like this character. I like this, redeemer character. Show me more. But they're
My
just
take,
sitting there like,
it's Sammy Guevara's fault. I don't even care what it is, what we're talking about. It's
I
always his
believe it.
fault.
He don't know how to do normal things.
Be like, just cut him loose. You can keep Tay, but
Yeah,
get rid of Sammy.
I thought they were separating those two, but I don't know what's going on there because
When they did
now
that
that
interview, they were like they were like on the opposite side of each other in that group.
yeah, like they're trying to distance, which is good. Nobody really wanted that.
Yeah, well, let's put Sammy with like next to Anna Jay. What could possibly go wrong with that, knowing his history?
Right. Next thing you know, they're going to be getting married. I don't know. He gonna have to fight Jungle Boy for that one.
Kind of an even matchup with that one.
Yeah, I can see that.
At least Jungle Boy's family will be in the crowd somewhere, and his potential future father Christian will be backstage somewhere.
Right. And now, just randomly, well, I guess there's like a small story. Just Orange Cassidy not really caring who he's defending his title against. He has a triple threat match next week between Ray
Luchasaurus.
Ray Luchasaurus and himself. So that should be interesting.
I don't know what part of the whatever transatlantic or whatever the body land is. I don't know where dinosaurs fall into that, but
right. But we'll see. I don't think either of those two are going to win because somehow Orange Cassidy is going to win. I don't think he's going to get the pin on Luchasaurus. I think he'll get the pin over Ray somehow, some way. I don't know how, but somehow, some way. But yeah, like I think here's I hear the cat, but here's something that I'm really liking about what AEW, I mean not AEW, but WWE is doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
They are acknowledging the fact, keeping it kayfabe, that Elias was gone for quite some time and that he wasn't just here as Ezekiel. And I'm like, and they said Ezekiel, lost his contract and Elias is here and, he's been gone for so long. And Corey Graves talking about he had ring rust. And I'm just like, I love the fact that that we know that they are the same person, but you're pretending like we don't know.
It's so just one big wink. It's one big wink at the crowd.
I love it. Like that is, in my opinion, some peak storytelling right there. Because it's like, yeah, we know, but we don't care. Just enjoy it.
Roll with it.
Come along for the ride. That's it. That's all you have to do. And I am loving every minute of this. I just need Kevin Owens to come back. This one's for you, Finky. I just need Kevin Owens to come back and
Finky's boycotting the show until Kevin Owens is back.
Right? He's just like, look, until KO is back, I'm not coming on the show. So Kevin Owens, if you're watching, at any point, somehow, some way, please come back so we can get our co-host back, please. But I think it'll be interesting to see, how they acknowledge that with Kevin Owens, because it seemed like even what's his name, Chad Gable, like he didn't even recognize that. He was just like, oh yeah, you're back, okay, whatever. Like, I'm so glad they ain't got him in that horrible fake mustache or beard again either. It's not as long as it used to be, but still, it's like almost looking like Henry Caviezel and Justice League when he had the fake skin over his mustache that he couldn't get rid of. That's what that reminded me of. Oh my god! But I'm just peak storytelling right there, man. Like I'm enjoying every minute of that. And I'm glad we finally know what's up with Tommaso Ciampa. Did you see that today?
I did not. What did I miss?
He just had hip surgery or
Okay.
injury in his hip, so he's gonna be out for a minute. I was wondering why he just randomly disappeared.
Literally, I mean, the dude seems whenever he gets injured, the dude will have like the most horrific sounding injuries, but he's back in a month.
Yeah,
and he's more shred. Not even because of roids or whatever. He's just still more jacked and like in better shape. Just maybe more hobo-ish looking than ever.
Yeah, so I hope when he comes back with his NXT gimmick and not that Miz. Like I enjoyed it, but I'm like, okay.
To hell with Lesnar. Tommaso's the real murder hobo we got here.
Right? Like that's I hope he does have a speedy recovery, but I was confused. I'm like, where's Tommaso? We haven't had any interaction with him and Johnny Gargano or nothing. Like, what's going on?
You're leaving Miz on his own to fend off Gargano, Loomis, and whatever other mayhem comes his way.
What do you think the secret is?
I have no idea. I'm just hoping there's actually a payoff to it, and it's not something that we forget about.
Like they're long lost brothers or something. That would be funny. Like he won't acknowledge that that's his brother, and I mean we've had kayfabe brothers before that we were like, yeah, we know they're not brothers, but they're brothers. Kane and I'm gonna say Kane and Abel, Kane and Undertaker. I mean, there's no real difference, but because I mean one of them. Never mind. I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not gonna do it. We know what's popping, but I'm not gonna do it. I found something funny this week.
All right,
Twitter. I started following him, but Coco Beware finally has a Twitter account, and he is trying to get verified, but Twitter won't verify him. But do you know who they did verify? His parent.
Frankie got verified.
I believe that was his parent that got verified, and he did not. He's like Big Bird has been verified, and I'm not. Like it's all in a joking manner, but still, I'm just like, I'm loving the fact that these wrestlers are joining Twitter, but they're like old men, so they're doing like the old man things that because Tito Santana. We got a new wrestler joining the WWE, but Tito Santana started a Twitter too, and I followed him because he was doing those same things, like just posting random stuff, like this is who I am, who I was, all that. So it was kind of funny, but I just find it funny that like Coco Beware is on this campaign, and he's a champion in WWE and a Hall of Famer and all of this stuff, and they're just like, no, you don't fit the criteria. Like, what is the criteria?
I feel like Coco, when Twitter is admitting that Frankie was more over than was the reason you were over. That I think you just stop taking bookings at that point.
It doesn't matter. Get that man his check mark. He deserves it. Because his bird is probably, how long can Paris live?
Well, 100.
Oh, he old too then.
Be like Paris can live to be 100, so there's so imagine how many Wills probably are in those things.
Right? Some they could outlast the generation probably.
Feel like grandma's dead and I inherited the bird. And that thing's got another 20, 30 years on it.
Here's what you do. You get a bird and a baby at the same time, right? You get a baby parrot right after you have a baby. Make sure they're the same age and watch them grow. And then the game is to see who will expire first. It's a little morbid, but tell me that wouldn't be peak reality TV right there.
I mean,
Just
you can also just have like milestones as they go. Like,
yeah,
who
and that
learns to talk first, the bird or the kid?
and then it'd be like kind of like how they did Boyhood. You ever see that movie?
Yep, Parenthood.
Where is yeah, but is
15 years of a bird.
yeah, so it's just like, in the early years, it's, every major milestone in life, but then it's just like once they hit adulthood, it's like, even though the bird is doing the same stuff, we just
You're like, we don't give a shit about the kid. We'll just watch the bird in a cage.
like that would be funny.
That kid will be more. That kid will be more screwed up than a homeschool kid at prom night,
right? But that would be interesting. But Giddis, man, his check mark, man. Coco Beware deserves it. Like he wasn't he tag champs with Owen Hart?
I know he tagged with them. I don't know if he actually won the title or not.
Okay.
I just remember they tagged and they wore a lot of neon, even for the late 80s.
Pink and blue. Yep. They had that a lot of that pink and blue. But yeah, so my Twitter is just all wrestling people, man. Wrestling and video games. That's it.
I was gonna say, what did Coco bring to the table? I mean, at least like the Iron Sheik, you can expect like a lot of obscenities, not by himself, but
he was a successful black wrestler. That's what he brought to the table.
You're talking about Coco, or you're talking about the Sheik? Because none one would surprise me to say that.
Coco Beware. That's what he brought to the table, okay? That's good enough for me. Good enough for me.
Like, well, it was Coco in the 80s, I think, in Memphis, who had that gimmick of he used to dress like Michael Jackson with like the glove and all that too. I forgot who he tagged with when he was that and what their name was, but I think it was like, it was the PYTs, the Pretty Young Things.
I could only imagine Coco Beware and like who would he be paired with nowadays in like modern wrestling? I feel like he'd be rocking with the New Day.
I'm just trying to think of because there's nobody who comes out to the ring with an animal anymore. It was just Coco and British Bulldog with whatever the hell the dog's name was.
But the New Day dresses like animals sometimes.
Jake the Snake. I don't know if his original snakes are still alive.
Probably not.
Does Ricky the Dragon Steamboat still have that Gila monster or whatever it was they used to have?
And if those things last a long time, maybe. I don't know.
Those things are more vicious. I don't know. It'd be even more Well, I don't know if I'd rather handle Jake's rattlesnake or snake or whatever, python, or his Komodo or Gila, whatever that thing is, because those things pack a whop of a bite.
I don't want to deal with either of them, but I mean, he doesn't really. I think, New Day and AEW, they probably put him with anybody over there. He'd be in a Blackpool Combat Club for some odd reason, using that bird to fight in the matches.
Pinky's not here, so I just got to throw the comment out on his behalf. You're not going to throw him in the Blackpool Combat Club just because the word black's in the title, are you?
I didn't even think about that. Maybe. No.
Be like you got Claudio, you got Regal, you got Wheeler, you got Coco Beware. I mean, I'd rather have Coco than Wheeler, I guess, but
yeah, I think I just want to see him do stuff again. Like I do want to. I don't care if it's like wrestling or anything, but I think it would just be interesting to see like if WWE did it or AEW or somebody on YouTube did like a documentary series where they go and interview people like Tito Santana, Coco Beware, some of those like Iron Sheik, some of those stars of yesteryear that outside of their random appearances, like you don't really hear about them. Like kind of what happened with, was it Abdullah the Butcher? I think
Abdullah the Butcher.
Yeah. Was it him or was it
what do you do?
No, it was Kamala. How like after like his career ended, because I just watched the whole documentary. Kamala, where he ended up essentially dying alone and sick because I think he had diabetes, had to
I
have
think he
both his
lost both
legs
of his legs.
amputated.
Yeah.
Mhm. And it was just sad because nobody knew what was going on until he, made a
I
video asking for help or something.
I was gonna say I do remember he was. I think he lost one. I don't know if he lost both legs at once, but I think he lost
It was two
one a
separate
while
times.
ago. But then, yeah, he had like a GoFundMe or something, and he had health issues. Everybody knew that, but it didn't
Yeah,
get to that extent until the last few years before he passed.
yeah.
And he's also regarded as like one of the nicest guys ever.
Oh yeah. And so that's why I was just like, it was just sad to see that nobody really, was interacting with these guys anymore. Because it's like when it comes to professional wrestling, it's not like actors where 9 times out of 10 they'll be having residuals still coming in. So they don't necessarily need to work again. Because I'm telling you, the people who have like 200-300 movie TV show voice acting credits to their name, where they all get residuals, like they could get a like 30 checks in a week, and it'd be over like 10,000 or something.
Or you got
Like it
people
just
that are,
depends.
you also got people getting even outside of wrestling getting like residuals from like movies that are broadcasted on TV that they
Mm-hmm.
completely forgot they were even in. Like, oh yeah, I was in this movie for like 5 minutes, and I just got a
So,
check for $250. Cool, not
yep.
250, but two
But
two
yeah,
dollars
yeah.
and cents.
So it's just like you get some big ones where it could be like a couple hundred. You get some small ones that could be a couple cents. And
Mm-hmm.
so, but it's just like wrestlers don't have that. They don't get residuals or royalties or anything like that. All they have is their merch. And if they
Mm-hmm.
aren't remembered, they're not
Shout out to
selling
Virgil.
nothing. Exactly. And it's just like all of this stuff is going on that we don't know about. And it's just like they did all of this stuff throughout the 80s and 90s and 70s, where if we didn't have them, wrestling would not be where it's at today. And then
But
it's
they're
like
broken
once
down and they got no money to show for it. That's the thing. It's like
exactly,
watch the movie The Wrestler. It's basically kind of like true to
exactly,
life.
exactly.
And we were
And
this close
so
to basically having Ric Flair reenact the ending.
and we're at a point where wrestlers nowadays won't have to worry about that
Mm-hmm.
because they could do like the Miz. Like Miz don't need to work in wrestling no more if he don't want to,
Mm-hmm.
because Dancing with the Stars, his TV show on E. I feel like that's why Miz is just happy where he's at, where he's like, if I get a world title, I get, but like
You're like, I main
life
evented
wise,
WrestleMania. I have a TV show. I married the Maurice. I've won in life.
right? He's like, I'm good. Like, and that's what's crazy to me. So
What haven't I done?
so we have that with wrestlers nowadays, but for the wrestlers, back then it would be interesting because I guarantee you, if they said we need help, wrestling fans, whether they hated something or they would definitely, help out in some way, shape, or form. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
not, everybody completely, but I still think that, as selfish as humanity is, when they see something that really does, connect with them,
Mm-hmm.
they're willing to, shell out the money.
I feel like whenever there's like a wrestler who has like a GoFundMe or something, somebody like Jericho will always like throw like a couple grand to it when
Mm-hmm.
he's not donating the other amount of money to Trump or whatever. But that's a different story altogether.
Right. But like that's what made me, that's kind of what I've been thinking about lately is like, what are a lot of these older wrestlers that's not people like Ric Flair, Sting, Hulk Hogan, people
Mm-hmm.
who were so mega that, like a lot of people don't know who the Von Erichs were, like, or are. Luckily, they're making a movie about them. Did you know that?
Yeah, Zach Efron's in it, and he's jacked to the gills for it.
He is. And then I was like, he wasn't that jacked. And then they did a side by side, and I was like, yes, he was, because they did a side by side, and I think I forget where
He's
the
like half
current
a
Von
foot shorter
Erichs are
than the
wrestling.
actual Von Erich was, but that can
Yeah,
be worked around.
yeah. So I'm glad because I remember I watched on the WWE Network. I was watching a lot of the old like those championship classics in Texas.
Like him versus the mid was it the not the oh god Michael Hayes and all them.
Yeah, yep.
Hayes,
I
Gordy,
was,
and I forget the other guy.
and then that made me watch their documentary about their life or whatever, because I'd already known about what happened to
Bad
the Von
Street is a
Erichs.
banger. I gotta say that right now.
But yeah, it is. But I never really like honed in on everything. And then when I watched the documentary, I'm just like, man, the Von Erichs are truly, you can put them up there with the Rhodes, the Anuahi family, um, Guerrero, like one of those big name families. It's just sad that all but one went the exact same way, I believe. But
I think one of them was accidental though. The rest of
yeah,
them were like more or less suicide, and in kind of a grim sort of way. The least talent, one of the least talented of the bunch, was the one that's still alive today. So I
yeah,
guess in a way it kind of worked out for him.
yeah, because
His kids are
I
doing
don't
all
think
right.
he had that pressure that the other
Mhm.
brothers had.
Yeah, especially Carrie,
Yeah, like Kerry was, he was the I
the
believe the
golden
biggest
boy,
motherfucker. Yep, out of
the
out of
one that
all of them.
the one that Flair had to lead to a match while he was basically completely annihilated. A la Bret Hart and British Bulldog, just
Yeah.
at a fraction of the crowd size.
So these guys were truly like amazing. If you guys haven't, you know, watched that stuff, I would check it out because those were some solid matches that they would put on when they were tag teaming together. Um, at those wrestling shows where they were feuding with Michael Hayes's group. Um, good quality um, old school matches right there. And they're all on the WWE network. All of these matches you can find. I think it's like in their or I should say Peacock, but I think it's in their like WWE classics or like original shows or something. Um, I can't remember the name exactly, but you can find it there. I might look at some of that stuff before I go to bed tonight.
Yeah, it's like up the Von Erichs, the Fabulous Freebirds, any of that stuff.
Yep, those guys. Yep, the Fabulous Freebirds, and all good matches. And you may learn about some wrestlers that either you never knew of or just some of their early career, like seeing stuff with Dusty Rhodes, I'm gonna say Cody Rhodes, Ric Flair. Kind of in those years where it wasn't, the big WWE. It was just those territories.
You can see the origins of the Freebird rule, where a team of three
Mhm.
wins a tag title, and they basically flip flop with who's going to be in every match.
Yep. Learned about that from when it happened to the New Day. I was like, what's the Freebird rule? Looked it up. Hey, that's what kind of made me want to look into them more too.
The best team to do it since Triple X in NWA TNA back in the day.
Yep. Like it's crazy that was an NWA show and it kind of became its own thing. But yeah, I do hope that with all of this money that all of these people are making, like just it wouldn't take that much to just, and I'm pretty sure they would be happy to talk about their life as a wrestler and just kind of go back into that moment. You know, like I feel like they would enjoy that, and I think we would too, because we're all at a point where now we're so used to being inside that we don't leave anyway, so we just watch hella documentaries. Tiger
That's
King, I'm looking at you.
that's if we actually watch it, or you just like add a bunch of stuff to your watch later list, and it's like I'm paying $10 a month just to do this.
Yeah, that's how it is with Netflix for the longest.
Mm-hmm.
90% of the year I don't use it, but there's always that 10% though.
At least with Peacock, I
But
get my money's worth. I can either watch a premium live event, or I can just throw on an episode of The Office. I'm getting my money's worth.
oh yeah, like Peacock is Peacock is staying. Disney Plus is staying. Primarily Peacock for my wrestling stuff. Gotta have my wrestling stuff.
Disney Plus, I hate to sound like I'm pushing it, but you got that 3-pack, was it like $13-14 with Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus?
Yep. I don't use ESPN, but I got the other two because I get it through my phone service.
I just watched the shit out of 30 for 30s. That's why.
I gotta watch that Ric Flair one. I haven't watched that one yet.
That one's good.
I have to watch that one. Maybe I'll watch it and then talk about it on the podcast. Who knows? We'll see. But we're coming to the end of the podcast. So, do you have any moments of the week for you?
Not really. Like I said, my biggest moment of the week was probably the main event for NXT Halloween Havoc. So, the triple threat match. So,
yeah.
And we kind of briefly touched upon that. But
like
other than that, just a lot of going on, a lot of build up to all the pay-per-views coming up. Like I said, we got Crown Jewel coming up in, I think, a week or two. We got Full Gear like
next
the next
week.
No, Full Gear is actually November 19th.
No, I meant
Crown Jewel, Survivor Series.
Yep.
And it's gonna be we got a hell of a month coming up.
NXT one in December. I don't know if WWE is doing one, but I think both companies
series, I believe.
And is that one in December? I thought that one was in November, right around Thanksgiving.
I believe it is, but I thought it was like November 26th, so it's after Thanksgiving.
Like the day after?
The 26th. So is that? Yep, the day after, the 26th. Well, the Saturday after, rather.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say, so they doing it on a Friday. I was like, okay, I still got to work, but
that'd be okay. In fact, fuck it, have it on Thanksgiving night. We're going pure old school this time around,
right? Like,
or have it on Black Friday, like you said. Most stores aren't going to be open that morning anyway, so we need something to do throughout the day.
Yeah,
spend our money.
I think I have to work. I don't know yet. I give tours, so maybe. We'll see. I don't know what the schedule is going to be like then.
Yeah, but you ain't working at like 1, 2 in the morning like most people in retail are.
No, I would never do that again.
Walking past the line of people to open the door, like, and you go.
Nope, here's your never TV. Doing that again. But yeah, like I said, my moments of the week were Wesley winning the title, Willow Nightingale getting her contract, and Ava Raine making her debut in WWE. And I just realized all of these people are young talent. So I guess that's what I'm excited for most is, I guess, the moment of the week is this young talent. Because the young talent is winning in wrestling, period, right now. Like, they are the ones that are truly winning. Like, contracts being signed, debuts happening, titles being won. Because almost everything that was similar to those situations happening with other people are well into their careers. Like Seth finally getting a title again. Any debut or return that's come up recently, or new contract signed at AEW, they've all been like older talent. This week has been purely for the young bloods in wrestling. That's what I feel like.
So my biggest takeaway to close the show is you're just happy there's no Bill Goldberg in sight.
Exactly. We don't need any more.
Crown Jewel's just around the corner. We have plenty of time.
All right, folks. That's it for 4 dudes minus 2 right now. So thank you guys for watching this now, and thank you guys for watching in the future. Catch you guys next week.
Later. 2 scissor.